Hi everybody, welcome to the Tri 24/7 booth at the Triathlon show, and this afternoon I'm joined by professional triathlete Tamsin Lewis. Good afternoon, Tamsin.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm alright, been one big mingle fest, which is nice.
Is it an opportunity for people like yourself to come here and connect with potential sponsors?
Yeah, I think it's always nice to put a face to the names that you see on the emails and chat to people that potentially could sponsor you and see the products, test them out, that sort of thing. So yeah.
So we were just discussing then. You race as a pro.
Yeah.
Right, and you are what I would say living the dream in terms of you were an age group athlete. You won your age group at the World Championships 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
2009. Yeah.
So at that point, you've done as well as you can in age group. The next logical step is to go up to be a pro.
Yeah.
But it's not just one step, is it? It's like several steps in one go.
Yeah, it comes as a big shock. Like I was always a very strong cyclist as an age grouper, and would always put a lot of time into people on the bike. But as a pro, everyone's strong on the bike, more or less. So that's a big shock. But the other thing we were chatting about, like the financial side of things, is very difficult for most people, and I see a lot of struggling pros because the money's just not there. Even if you win races all year, you're still, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, you go to a race, you win $3,000, and then you find out they're taking half of it off you in tax.
Yeah.
And then by the time you've got home, you've just about paid for your flights and your hotels, so you're left with nothing when you get home. You may as well not bother going.
No, it's shocking, and the sponsors don't want to back you financially. It's especially unless you've won Kona. It's very difficult to get any money.
Yeah.
What do? Do you save up? I mean, can you have a job where you save up for a few years and then turn pro and live off your savings? I did that a bit, but I was lucky to have a little bit of financial sponsorship to help me along from the Priory.
I remember when Richard Allen turned pro. Richard, he's a local lad to me, nice Yorkshire lad.
Yes.
And I remember him saying that at that point he almost ended up really exhausted at the end of 1 year, because he had to travel the world to do races to get known by the race organisers, and to get enough sort of podium finishes so that people would invite him to events and to get sponsorship dollars. But at the same time, he was getting home on a Tuesday, unpacking his bike, doing his washing, and then on Thursday he'd be off again, so there was no real time for any meaningful training in between that. And so his races weren't as good as they should have been because he was too busy doing the travelling, and so it became a sort of vicious circle of travel, race, trying to train, travel, race, getting more exhausted.
Yeah.
If you're Chrissy or Craig Alexander, you can pick and choose your races, you can win them, you win big money, you get good sponsorship dollars, and everything's okay. But that's a very small group of people, isn't it, that live like that?
I'm hoping that with the advent of Lance Armstrong coming into the sport and things, that that there's going to be more money out there. There's going to be more sponsors that want to give money to pros or top age groupers. That at the end of the day, they get exposure for the brand. If you see a certain brand somewhere, then people want to buy it or want to ride it. So I'm hoping that will change. WTC doesn't help much because they don't pay the dollars, but we do. We love the sport, so we keep at it.
We do. So, and of course, sponsors will, fine. You get power bar, you get a bike, you get this, you get a wetsuit, but it doesn't pay the mortgage, does it? So how do you pay the mortgage as a pro in your position, which probably a lot of them are? How do you pay the bills?
Well, it's hard. Like I know, like my friends Lucy Gossage, Emma Mullen. They work part time and you try and make ends meet. You live a simpler life. I don't go out that much. Some people don't go out at all. You have to watch where you're spending the money. You become a bit bread and water type, although I've never been very good at that. So I still work occasional locum weekends as a doctor, so I get some money from that. And the Priory group sponsor me they give me a certain amount of money a year to live off. So that and occasional race money is always nice.
So the vast majority of people who watch Tri 24/7 and will probably be watching this video will be age groupers, and some of them will be in the position you were in a few years ago. Doing very well and thinking, I would love to be a pro triathlete. It must be a great life, flying around the world, doing races in places that people would choose to go on holiday. So if they were in that position and about to make that decision in the next few months, what would your advice be to them?
I would say I would never tell someone not to do something that they set their heart passionately on, but be realistic. It's hard. I remember when I first turned pro, I thought, if I train this much harder, I'm going to be this much better. But unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that. The gains are steady. We're not all superhuman. A bit like people. Some people seem to think people are, but I think you have to be very patient. I think you have to put some money aside, and choose some races with good exposure that suit you.
Yeah.
That's no two races are the same. There's some are hilly, some are flat. Use your strengths, work your weaknesses, sort of thing.
Yeah, because I guess people go, I could go to Ironman Austria and do a really fast time, but unless you get in the guys, unless you go 8:15 there, nobody's going to be looking at your result. An 8:45 is great as an age grouper, but you're probably just outside the top 20 in Austria, so you might be better off going to Lanzarote, where it's a smaller field, smaller purse, play to your strengths, get a top 5. Have a long-term plan, you're saying, so you can't think about achieving success in 12 months. It's got to be over 2 or 3 years.
I remember when I joined Team TBB, when I first went pro, and that kind of set off the whole thing for me. And Brett Sutton said to me, we don't work miracles. We can't, make you a world champion a year. He did with Chrissy, but Chrissy's one of a kind. So, patience, consistency, working on your weaknesses pays off. But it's a very, as Chrissy will tell you if you read a book, it's a very monotonous life. You make a lot of sacrifices. I don't go out with people like friends and family. I don't see them as much. I don't go out for dinner as much. I don't travel as much. I don't enjoy things like the excesses like I used to.
Yeah, that glamorous lifestyle isn't so glamorous when you scratch away the surface, is it?
No, definitely. And for the top people, it is glamorous. People being put up in 5-star hotels in Abu Dhabi, but maybe one day.
You've got to work your way up there first.
Got to work your way up there. But it's fun trying.
A couple of age group guys that I coached were in Portugal a few years ago to do a race, and they met an English guy who was out there as a pro, and one of the lads said to him, "It must be great for you, you're a pro, you get a nice bike." He went, "Yeah, it's 3 years old, not as nice as your new one."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, but you get to race these races." He said, "Let me give you the truth here. I've got to finish in the top 3 to make my trip worthwhile. Not to earn money, but just to pay for the accommodation." He said, "If I don't finish in the top 3, if I get a puncture, I go home empty-handed. Actually, I go home minus because I've had to pay for all the travel."
There's races that's happened to me.
Yeah, if I win, then I probably have enough to pay next month's expenses. He said, "You guys, you do the race, have a beer afterwards, fly home tomorrow, go and earn a bit more money, buy some new kit and do another race." He said, his words were, "Unless you're going to win money, you're better off as an age group enjoying the sport."
No, I often think that, and for me it is a sabbatical from my main job as a doctor, and I have that to go back to. For some pros they don't, they're on the breadline the whole time and they really, really want to, try and make money. But it's a great experience, but you have to be realistic.
Yeah, great. Well, listen, Tam, hope you've enjoyed it today. Thanks very much for joining us. From me, Simon Ward, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, try247.com for all the interviews from the show. See you again next time.